Hello, Cancer. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm going to use The Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. For supportive oracle cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen, and there's her last name right there. Whew. He is all full of energy today, so the cat might be all over the place. Fair warning. He's just been bouncing all over. So if you hear that thud, 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 that's him running across the floor. Hey, stop. Don't attack the table. You got this sun card at the bottom, and you have a crazy cat, so it's obviously going to be a good reading for you. And oh, the Ace of Cups is pushing out too. Ace of Wands is pushing out as well. I don't feel like that's right. The Karma card is starting to push, but you got the Death card, but I don't really feel the connection. I feel like it wanted to stay behind there. All right, so there's a lot of good energy coming in, a lot of new energy. I don't know if I want to say new, or honestly, I'm feeling the word revival. So reviving something. Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, the Sun card. I don't feel like the Death card is correct. I feel like this is a revival. So it's almost like reviving something that might have been dormant for a while. Now, the past, I feel like this is the history of the situation. Somebody is going through, or somebody had gone through something very devastating, but I don't see it happening to you at the same time. So somebody was devastated about something. It's almost like they lost a job, or like maybe they lost their home, or like you understood the impact of it, but you know what I mean? This wasn't something like, I don't know. It could be a friend who lost maybe a parent, but you didn't know the parent very well. So you understood it and you had compassion for it. You had a lot of compassion for this, but it didn't happen directly to you. I hope that makes sense. Like if you had a friend and their parent passed away, but you didn't know that parent very well, you would have compassion for your friend, a lot of compassion for your friend, but you didn't know that person, so it's not devastating you because you weren't connected that way. You know what I mean? That's what we're coming in with. So you have instinct with despondence, which is kind of like, that word just looks so strange to me all of a sudden. I feel like it's just kind of like a lot of things were going on in your life at this time, and you were trying to help this person, whoever it was, but you were having to juggle a lot of things at once. And you have the King of Cups here, trying to like look out for everybody at once. Something went funky with a friend of yours. You just kind of were having your life was crazy at the time. I feel like your life was even crazy, but not for the same reason, for a different reason. Your life was like, and you did what you could for this person, but it's kind of like you had to balance it out. You had to uphold your own responsibilities. You tried to help them. Things seemed like things went a little dormant after this. Like things went a little dormant, but you didn't do anything wrong. But it's almost like this person kind of went off to the side for a while. Now, this person may have, they might be having a hard time getting over whatever the problem was, because the Ten of Swords is rough. Like, they were very devastated about something. I feel like you didn't know all the ins and outs of what was happening at the time. Excuse me. I don't know why my nose is doing that all of a sudden, but there you go. They might have been upset to the point where they had a crazy cat just running around the place for the love of Pete. When this happened, I just feel like this person kind of closed down a little bit. And it might just be they kind of closed you out for a while. I don't really feel like there's anything to blame you for, but they might have just kind of closed off certain people for a while that they just felt they needed to get a break from. I don't feel like there's anything you did wrong, though, so it's kind of strange to me, but this person kind of went off to the side either way. I'm just trying to look for a reason, like why they went to the side, but I do feel like they did. opportunity comes back to you. Somebody who's been off to the side for a while and dormant, you have the opportunity to invite them back into your life. And there's a really good opportunity here. He is really persistent. My cat just wants into your reading so bad. So I'm guessing it does feel correct. There's a playful energy here. And I think it's attracting my cat, quite frankly, because he's a nut. Just keeps walking around the table like he's circling me like a shark or something. I'm like, oh my god, he's going to get me. Perception with abundance. You're seeing an opportunity to bring this person close again. This is something that's gone dormant for a while. I feel like bringing this person in is a good idea. This might be where this like for some of you, this is where this is going to hit. Not all of you, I get that, but you're going to have this idea like somebody who you haven't been around very long or haven't been very chummy with in a while. You're like, well, this is something that they'd be interested in. This is something I can bring them in on. Should I do that or not? And you're wondering if they would enjoy this or they'd be even interested because you're not even sure why they fell off to the side. I'm getting like this could pull them towards you. They have some like weird energy here. It's not bad. I just feel like when life went through this rough spot for them, things got a little turned around in their head a little bit, and they just kind of shut down a little bit. They kind of blocked off a few people that they didn't really need to. They just kind of got a little confused about what was happening. And if you invite this person back in, I feel like they will want to do this. To them, it'll seem like it's out of the blue. But I feel like they're also going to question, like, well, why is this happening? It'll give them a chance to kind of resolve some unsettled energy for them. Because I feel like there's some misunderstanding here. I feel like there's some weird misunderstanding. And by pulling them back in, I feel like this will resolve that for them. Again, when this happened, this Ten of Swords, like that was hard for them. And I feel like they got turned around in their own head, and they don't even realize that at this point. But by bringing them closer again, I feel like they're going to have the opportunity to kind of sort that out and kind of rectify this energy. Like, you know, grief can do a lot to people, you know what I mean? That's a rough thing. We all have our moments of grief, and sometimes we just get turned around in our own heads. Something we think is going on isn't really happening, you know, things like that. The Queen of Wands comes in next. I feel like a very good moment is coming forward. I feel like they'll take you up on this offer. So if this hasn't happened yet, I feel like they will take you up on this offer, and this will bring you close to this person again with this opportunity. It doesn't mean you're going to be like best buddies again, but I do feel like at this point, it's agreeing to like, let's do this. This is a good idea. I do feel like they'll accept your offer to bring them in on this, and they will be interested in this. It feels very good. The thing is, I do feel like they need to talk something out. Whatever happened with this grief here in the past, like it really kind of whammied them pretty good. I just feel like things went a little wonky. Be aware with this grief that I don't feel like you're completely connected with this grief. And I feel like there's a lot of factors. Sometimes you get people who get, like if there's a bunch of people going through this grief moment, going through this negative moment, people handle it different ways. And sometimes people take advantage of other people. And I just feel like there's a lot of craziness that happened here that you weren't a part of. I don't feel like you were a part of, but like, how do I put this? Like, I remember I had a friend and one of their siblings was accusing me of something. And then my friend got upset with me. But then when we figured out, like, I wasn't even there. Like, I wasn't even at this situation. I was getting blamed for something that I wasn't even there. You know what I mean? So things like that happen. Like, this has happened to me before. Like, I get blamed for something. My friend gets mad because their sibling says, this is what happened. But then, there was proof I wasn't there. Like, I was never even there. I wasn't even there. I still look back at that and I'm just like, whatever. But I feel like it could be something like that. Like somebody said something, believing that it was the truth, but it wasn't. I feel like something that might be this weird grief thing. 'Cause things happen that you look back and you're like, what? Where? Like, seriously. Like I said, I wasn't even there. I'm just remembering that. That's like, this is something that's like this seems like a good analogy for this moment. Like I got blamed for something and I wasn't even there. I'm like, really? Okay. But people during grief, like maybe my friend would usually just jump and believe that, but it was a hard time. So, it's just one of those things. This situation with this friend can heal. This is asking a lot from you, I do believe. But this is also very strong with spiritual growth. Wisdom with impartiality. Stepping back and letting this person tell you what they think happened, because I feel like it's something like this that you really don't have anything to do with. I don't think you really have anything to do with it. But stepping back and letting somebody explain what they're experiencing or what they think happened, and then just, deconstructing it and saying, well, all right, was I even there? Just saying from my own experience. Was I even there? What actually happened? If the best response might be, well, I don't remember it that way, or I don't remember being a part of that, or that's not how I remember it. And just going from there. And partiality with the wisdom is kind of like, all right, this is how they feel. Whether it's right or not, that's a whole nother story. Because I feel like this can come around, and I feel like you got the Three of Cups with the guilt. Working this out, don't let guilt overshadow this. Guilt is like a dangerous thing. The point is to relieve guilt. Don't walk away with guilt. This friendship can come back if somebody has guilt, if it's cleared away, and like the way I handle guilt is like there's no reason for guilt. If you did something wrong, you own up to it, and then you just say, this is what I'll do next time. I don't see how guilt helps anybody. Like if you're afraid, like if you smack somebody in the face and you're like, well, I kind of liked it, I think I might do it again. All right, I can see you being guilty. Like, okay, I feel a little guilty because that's a guilty pleasure smacking you in the face. So that would be, all right, I'll give you that. But if you're like, well, I didn't realize you were hurting that bad. I wish I reached out to you better. I feel guilty for that. Holding that guilt is not helpful. Looking back and saying, okay, I didn't realize how you were hurting so bad. I wish I reached out. Next time I'll do better. And just being like, next time I'm just going to keep on pointing. Don't hold the guilt about it, but just say, I'm sorry that happened. This is what I'm going to do going forward. If something like that comes forward, just be careful with guilt. Guilt is not helpful. Guilt is a lower negative feeling. It's not helpful. Using it to identify this wasn't the way I wanted it to be, and deciding this is what I'm going to do next time, and saying this, I'm committed to doing this next time. Yes, that's helpful, but you can't hold that guilt feeling. Negativity like that is not helpful. People get confused with that. Because I've heard people say, well, if I feel guilty about it, I'm less likely to do it next time. I don't feel, it's not empowering like that. I don't really feel like guilt usually breeds more guilt. It's not good. It's not a good place to live. So if that happens, and I feel like you can give this person, like, this is how we can reconnect. Don't get caught in that guilt trap. I feel like that's the biggest thing here. Don't get caught in the guilt trap. Either side. This is what happened. This is how I would rather it would have happened. This is how we'll handle it if it happens in the future. Just agreeing and just being on the same point. This is how we'll talk it out next time. This is how we'll do it next time. This is how I'll try to stay in contact with you next time. Just be careful. Like, I feel like don't get caught in that guilt trap. Don't get caught in it. That's all I'm saying. Either side. Because I feel like you have the ability to step past it. The other person might need some help with that, because I'm noticing this service energy here. Like, they might be a little bit caught up in it. Moving towards a resolution, moving towards, like, this is how we'll handle it going forward in a positive way, good. Don't let guilt. Guilt can't help. Guilt is not helpful. I'm telling you, guilt is not helpful. I don't see it as helpful. So I feel like that's what we're talking about, right? I think we're done. So that's what this is going towards. Like, this is something coming back, something reconstituting. But when it does, just don't let neither you nor them, neither of you can get caught in this guilt trap. It's just asking for more problems later. If you can find a way to move past it in a positive way, I feel like this can reconstitute this bond. I don't think it's really gone. I just feel like it can revitalize it, bring the life back to it. Kind of reminds me of like an old vine, like old houseplant vine, where it gets neglected for a while and starts losing a lot of leaves. This can bring more life back to it, and it can bring it back into flourishment. It can come back to its full life again. It's just going to take some tending to. All right, I think I'm just beating it in the ground, so I'm going to let it go here. All right, so thanks to you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.